Hello Aries, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Aries. The cards for you earlier. So let me just go over that first, and then I'm going to lay out the cards for this month, okay? I feel like during a solar return, which denotes, your birthday time, you will pretty much know who your friends are. You know who is important to you, and you also will know who's prioritizing you in terms of making time for you. And I feel like concerning something that I feel like a decision that you've been procrastinating on, you made a decision. And I feel like your heart and your mind were in two different places. And so you have been procrastinating on this decision. Okay, so I feel like that was the case. And regardless, you've made the harder choice because you believe it was the right thing. So I feel like right now, you're closing like a chapter, a previous chapter in your life, and you're starting a new one. And in the process of starting a new one, I feel like a big part of you, this heavy burden has been lifted from your chest, and a big part of you is rejoicing based on the fact that now you can begin anew. And you know that things are unfolding, like a new path is unfolding ahead of you. And you can, start walking towards it anytime. But I feel like a lot of you needed some time to, I guess, mourn the past, and then you're moving forward. And I feel that you are going to start moving forward, small steps, okay? And so I feel like that energy is coming through. And then I also feel a few of you are dealing with some financial worries, okay? It's not severe, but I feel like whatever changes, that a lot of you are thinking about how you can rebuild your wealth. I feel that you're in a profession where others look at you in high regards. Other people hold you in high regards, but you're thinking like, it's not just the status. It's not just the position. You want something that is going to provide you with a lot more financial stability. So I feel like some of you are branching out, possibly upgrading your skills via some type of vocational, taking like a vocational class, upgrading your skills in some way, undergoing some type of training so that you can expand your skill set. So I feel like you're devoting your time and your energy this month into, the practical realm, taking care of something in a more practical manner. So I feel like that's the case coming through for this month, and possibly until, I want to say, like until the October time frame, okay? Aside from that, I feel like there's this energy here about, home and security, okay? And for a lot of you guys, home is not a physical thing. It's not like a house, four walls and a roof. It's more like the feeling that you have as it pertains to, hanging out with a person and having that strong emotional connection and feeling like you're at home. Being with somebody that really uplifts your spirit, makes you laugh, and makes you think, that feels like home. And I feel like right now there's some instability in what you would consider home. There's some instability in the security. It's almost as if you might have procrastinated on a decision as it pertains to your stability. And I feel like it might be linked up with another person. And because of that, that sense of stability is no longer here. And so I'm sensing that some of you are trying to rebuild that, are trying to, reconnect with people or new people in order to build that sense of stability for yourself. And one of the things that they are mentioning here is don't rush the process, okay? Because I feel like you need to be stable in your own self first, in your own sense of, having a true identity, having a strong sense of self. And this is something that comes easily, I feel, for Aries in general. So I feel that's not the case. I'm sensing like, it's more like finding somebody who is a lot more like you, who has the same values, who has the same goals, who has the same dreams and aspiration, so that you can feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this, or my way has not been wrong. I just need to find somebody like me. So I feel like that sense of, home, that sense of familiarity, that sense of like finding somebody who is your clan, who has the same beliefs, who has the same value, that can walk this next phase of your life with you, okay? So you've closed a chapter, I feel, a significant chapter in your life, and you're trying to move on right now. There's still emotional yearning for the past. I do sense that. But the past was out of your control, and I feel like you, deep down, you know that. But it's not until, last month. And so, as much as we want to push our will onto another person, I feel like you're drawing back mainly because there's resistance, okay? There's like very, very heavy resistance. And so you might figure that this person is not, home for me. And I need to find somebody that is more in alignment with what I want, with what I believe in, with my values, etc. Okay? So moving forward, I would say that this is a new beginning type of a month for you, okay? Old things need to change so that new things can start up again. And I feel like, you've got some good prosperity that is trying to come through for you. But I feel that right now you don't want to go out and reach out to new people. You want to spend some time with yourself first, and you want to, I feel like it's a month of adjustment. So, adjusting to something, or adjusting to the absence of something, or adjusting to something new. So I feel like some of you are still in that adjustment phase. And so you don't want to invite too many people into your life right now while things are still, up in the air. So I feel like that's the case. And I also feel like that sense of home, it is something that you realize, I can create a home by myself. I can create like that sense of stability for myself. I don't need another person. But you are yearning for something a little bit more tangible, and having that person who is so like-minded, where they understand where you're coming from without you having to over-explain, because I don't feel like you want to sit and have to, talk about everything. You just want it to flow, and you want the other person to intuitively understand you, okay? So, which brings us to this month and the energies for this month. So I'm doing a different spread. I'm reverting back to the first spread that I started the channel with, okay? And I'm taking a break from the other spread, mainly because I feel like this is you're going through some major adjustments. And, usually I start these readings with Capricorn. Capricorns are easy for me to connect with, and the energy is very simple. So this month I'm drawing cards, basically, based on the major arcana that corresponds to one of the signs in the zodiac. So yours came out first, so I feel like there are important messages. So I want to do this so that we can connect, okay? So the first thing that I'm feeling here, this is a card about, thinking about the past, longing for the past, and as well, holding on to something. And I feel like it might be a value system. It might be a very, very strong belief of yours. And you're holding on to it very, very tightly. You're not compromising. You're standing your ground. You're defending, whatever it is that you're believing in. And I feel like in some way, some of you, it might have really hindered your overall spiritual development. It could also have hindered your relationship. This is innately, it's the number 2. 2 stands for relationship with ourselves and other people, and specifically like an individual. So I feel like, this is a card about holding our ground and not compromising. And even though you understand where the other person is coming from, but for some reason you know that it's not going to work. If they were to compromise, you wouldn't respect them, and if you were to compromise, they wouldn't respect you. So you both are at an impasse. But I feel like it's more on a spiritual, on a philosophical level, where you can't really compromise. So it's sort of like, where do we go from here? If we're not in accordance with one another, if our lives are diverging, where we're not coming together, where do we go from here? And so I feel like a lot of you are looking back at a past situation, and you compromise is not really the problem. You're learning a lot from it. So I feel like you're trying to find somebody who is a lot more compatible with you, who is a lot more like-minded. So I feel like moving forward, you are going to try to sail on and try to find somebody who is a lot more like you, who is just as directed, okay? Who takes initiative, who is a lot more clear when it comes to, the way they think, the way they express themselves. So I feel like a lot of you are very honest. Fire signs in general are very, very honest. And I feel like, in a way, your honesty made change a situation drastically, okay? Holding on to basically what you value and being very honest and upfront about it and telling the other person this is no longer any contact, any communication, okay? So this is a card here about a rest and restoration. So I feel like you're still, looking at that person, and I feel like you have a great deal of respect for them. No matter what, there's still that sense of passion, chemistry, and just a very strong emotional connection. And I feel that you're going to be able to move on from this, okay? So they're saying something here that that was triggered. It's something like significant, and I feel like you might have been living with the person. There has been some major changes. I feel that came through for you guys last month. I feel like this was a situation where you couldn't exert control, okay? This was a situation where no matter what you did, you couldn't change the outcome. You couldn't convince the other person to come over to your side, to see things from your point of view. And I feel like because the person is quite intelligent, very, very stubborn, very intelligent as well, and so whatever you said to them, they had a way to refute you. And whatever, evidence you try to give to them, they have something else to throw at you. So the relationship itself, I feel like there was a lot of energy put in mutually from both sides. There was also a lot of just lack of clarity, lack of compromise, okay? So I feel like you've met your match in that past relationship where somebody was just as, adamant about defending what they believed in, okay? And I also feel like because you couldn't exert control in this situation, it had to be left for good from your life. It was built on something that it, once again, it's that sense of stability. It's that sense of comfort and familiarity. And it stayed for too long, and your growth was hindered. You were no longer learning. You were no longer progressing. You stayed in the relationship because it was comfortable. And it was also just, stable for some of you. Okay? I feel like for some of you guys, it was very exciting, but the other person might not have been completely honest. And then the other group, where things were very stable, very status quo, very, very safe, but you couldn't exert the outcome that you wanted. And so things had to, break down so that they can be rebuilt. And I'm also sensing for some of you, this might have been a work situation too, where the learning curve might have been very steep. And you might have questioned, your competency level. You might have questioned whether or not you have the skills in order to perform well in this work environment. And I feel like it wasn't working for you. So energetically, it has nothing to do with your skill level. It's just energetically, this might not be the right work environment for you. So I feel like it had to go. And because of it, because of this sudden change, this really, really strong, shakeup in a specific area in your life. Some of it is home, relationship, and for others, I feel it's work. Because of this shakeup, now your financial situation is a little bit wobbly. And like I said, I don't feel it's severe. For a lot of you, I don't feel it's severe, but it's definitely an adjustment. It's definitely a change up. And it's something very unexpected. So now you're trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I rebuild myself? And literally for some of you, this is basically upgrading your skills so that you can, have the competency, meet the competency level so that you can perform a specific task. Needing to upgrade your skills so that you can, start looking around to see what other opportunities are available for you. And once again, I'm seeing that, for some of you, this might have been a situation that was so strongly rooted. It's been around for so long. And oftentimes, when something is just there and it exists for so long in our lives, it felt very security based. And when it's no longer in the picture, our identity is also challenged by it. Okay, so for example, if you were in a relationship for a really long time and, structurally the relationship had to break down, now you're at a point where you're just like, who am I now? Who am I as an individual without the other person? And this is not like you, Aries. Normally, you are your own person and you don't, lose your sense of identity in a relationship. But I feel for some of you, this is something that has been, in existence through a majority, a huge percentage or a huge chunk of your life for so long. And now these questions regarding, identity, regarding values, regarding where I stand in the world, these things are coming through. And I feel like, that sense of self-doubt, did I do the right thing? Those things are coming through as well. And this is coming through to remind you with this Wheel of Fortune here, you are on the right path. You had to make a difficult decision because it was no longer working for you. And now you are given new opportunities so you can, start anew, okay, and implement whatever ideas you have, whatever projects you're thinking on that you've been procrastinating on. You're getting a big push to go ahead with it, okay? So don't ruminate. Just start acting. And in the process of acting, you're going to be okay. Financially, things will work out. And structurally, I feel like new opportunities will come in to fill in that vacuum that was left behind because of this major shakeup. So they're telling you, once again, not to worry about this. The sun will rise. You will be okay. And the opportunities will come in to fill in that void, okay? So don't fret over it. For some of you as well, I feel like there might have been a situation where just small minority of you, not all of you. There might have been a situation that I feel some of you might have taken for granted. You always expected it to be there. And so you might have let it slip away. It might have changed overnight and you didn't monitor it. And so as a result of it, I feel like you might have some guilt here. I'm seeing guilt come out in the spread. You might have wondered if you did the right thing. You might have wondered if you held on too stubbornly. And so once again, I feel like you did the right thing given the circumstances. And you needed to, you needed to defend your territory. You needed to make these hard decisions. And I feel like they were hard. It's not an easy decision here. But it's for your greater good because it's allowing you to finally exhale and, try to move on. And so with this Nine of Pentacles, it's a card about, no longer having that stability, resting on our laurels. We're going to have to go out and implement and begin anew. And it's a little bit scary. So once again, I feel like this is a major month for readjusting to a new situation. Like smoothing out that learning curve, starting over for many of you in new relationships. And I also feel as well, there's a lot of clarity coming through. So a lot of the times when we're immersed in a situation, so for example, dealing with combative bosses, dealing with combative relationship partners, when we're so immersed in it, we can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see that it's actually not healthy for us to be in this situation. And the more objective we are, the further we are emotionally and physically from something. When we detach ourselves, we can see it in its entirety. We could see where we were, siphoning our energy so heavily into a situation, pushing for a specific agenda, pushing for a specific outcome, that we might have been so wrapped up in it that we couldn't see it clearly. And now with that sense of objectivity, once you are removed from it physically and even emotionally, you're able to see it for what it is. You're able to see that this was a situation that you couldn't control. This is a situation where it was safe, it was stagnant, it was stable, but it was hindering your growth. And you also feel this was a situation where I feel like financially, it was draining you. Okay, so moving forward, looking at this situation here with objectivity, with a lot of wisdom, and also just, making that hard decision. I feel like you are growing leaps and bounds, okay, like you're growing. And then mentally and emotionally, I said that your mind was in a different place, your heart's in a different place, and that's why it's so hard to make this decision. And I feel that you're making a decision here with your mind, using rationality, using logic. And I feel like that's really going to serve you well, okay? So rather than being hot-headed, I feel like you're looking at this and you're just like, I did the right thing. You know, I try to reason it out with my head, and I try to move away from it, and it is working for you, because I feel like there's the energy is a lot calmer for this month, okay? So one of the things here about, major crossroads, major milestones, and also major decisions that have been made coming on the tail end of that is, don't question your resolve. Don't question the decision. Don't question yourself, okay? Don't cycle through self-doubt. Don't I guess like just trust that you did the right thing given the options, given the circumstances, given the heat of the moment. So don't question it, okay? Because I feel like some of you are still thinking back, wondering if you did the right thing, wondering if you should try to communicate, wondering if you need to, clear the air with another person. I feel like it's done and over with, and there isn't anything left to be said, okay? And once again, we are here rebuilding our value system, rebuilding our wealth, starting from scratch. So I feel like this is a card about, waiting for the harvest, okay? Taking stock, figuring out, okay, so what's left now? What do I do now? And figuring out where your skills are, figuring out your assets, figuring out your weaknesses as well, so that moving forward, you have this, holistic approach as to how you can understand yourself better, understanding your motives, understanding your intentions, and understanding as well the direction that you need to head in, so that you can rebuild your financial base, so that you can allow yourself to grab new opportunities when they come in. And you can also start, making better investment in yourself, but also like financial investment, so that you can start generating wealth for yourself, okay? So I feel like overall, we're pretty sure that a lot of you know which direction to go. It's just getting your mind and your heart to align, so that you feel very, very solid and good about this decision. But I feel that a lot of you are going to revert to, rationality to make this decision, which I feel is actually a really smart move, okay? So financially, there's a little bit of a hiccup, but I feel that it is going to right itself. It's going to take some time, so don't expect miracles to happen overnight, but I do feel that it's going to take some time, okay? So I hope that provides the information that you need. I feel like your energy was like the most, I guess like sporadic of all the signs coming through for this month, and that might explain why it came out first. But I do wish you the best, Aries. So I'm actually going to move on directly to your love reading, okay? So let me see what's in store for you guys. I'm hearing for some of you like it's too soon to date again, especially if you are newly single. It's way too soon. You know, I don't feel many of you are in a position where you're lacking in like partners, okay? So I don't sense that at all. And I feel for some of you, there might be a lot of suitors that come your way. And I feel like you're quite picky. You don't like people that give you cheesy one-liners. You don't like the easy pickup. So I feel like you need to have a lot of respect for another person. And you also need to have that intellectual connection with another person yet as well, in order for things to pan out to a relationship. Some of you, just the physical connection is great, but you know that that's not, stable long term. So you're holding out for something better, and you're holding out for somebody that is, your clan, that has the same values, that wants to walk the same path, and that has the same goals and aspirations as you. And so I feel like for singles, especially newly single people, it's too soon to date. And then for other people, let me just see, I feel like they're saying here about following in somebody else's footsteps, okay? So you might be surrounded by a lot of friends who are getting married, or getting engaged, or settling down to like a buying property with a partner, for example. And I feel like you might feel the pressure, or you might feel like, oh, I want to do that too. I want to be on that same timeline. And the thing is, no, things come to individuals in different ways, okay? So they're telling you not to rush this, okay? Especially for those of you in relationship and you're pressuring You feel pressure or you are pressuring. So just be very, very careful about that tendency. We have some heavy, heavy pregnancy energies here. So let me do this. I feel like some of you have so we have the Tower. It came out again. So I feel like, the changes happen for you in relationships, okay? It's coming out again in a love spread. So I feel like there has been some major, major shakeup in a relationship very, very recently. And it jeopardized your financial security for whatever reason. It was a home situation that you might have shared with another person. And now you're, trying to rebuild either as a single person. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of singles here. Okay, so let's talk about your reading here. First of all, we have the Temperance card, okay? And the Temperance card is, being calm, being collected, having the patience to get through a situation, or trusting that in divine timing that, with patience, things will start to right themselves again. And a situation will start to feel normal. It'll feel okay. So I feel like, coming out, that's the first spread in your love reading. This is a card for you to embody, okay? So don't rush into things. And I feel like some of you are taking some time off being single. I feel like there was a recent relationship in your life that broke down. And once again, the Tower is a card that basically indicates a lot of time needed to pass between two people in order to accumulate something so high, right? So something that you held in high regards, something that you thought was very stable. And I feel like there was a lot of possibly deception associated with this relationship, okay? I'm seeing like some sneaking around. So I don't know if like you're dating somebody who is like a friend, and you're trying to keep things on the down low so that your mutual friends don't know. Or I feel like some of you're dating somebody that really, really has the hots for you. You might just be having fun with them, but I feel like somebody really has the hots for you. They're making their intentions known, and you might not see this person in your life long term, but you're passing the time with them. And in the meantime, you're passing the time with them. I feel like you're not telling your friends about it. They don't know where you are. They don't know who you're with. They don't know what you're up to. So I feel like there's an element here of something very clandestine where you're not telling people openly about who it is that you're seeing. I feel like for some of you're dealing with somebody significantly younger, okay? Somebody significantly younger. And they have affections for you. You might have held off on dating them. They might have come at you, quite a few times. And you're just like, no, 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 no. I don't see you long term in my life. I don't see you as a relationship material. But now there's an element here of temptation I feel coming through for this month. So you might be. This is the Hangman. This is pretty much about not moving, not taking action, okay? So I feel like they came at you in the past, and they might have, they have a pretty good sense of humor about it, because I feel like they know that you might be out of their league, or they know that you're not interested, and for whatever reason. I feel like for some of you, this might be a younger person. Could be a water sign, so a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, somebody that really has the hots for you. And you might have tried to not interact with them, not get involved with them, but I feel that you might do it for this month. So especially if somebody from the past too, that you haven't been involved with for whatever reason, I feel that they're coming back in and is posing as a little bit of temptation for you. And then I feel that, there's somebody that you've taken a break from. You're trying to move on here with the Fool card. And you're waiting for the right person to come into the picture, and they're making a comeback. So it could be an air sign, so an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, somebody that's making a comeback. And this energy is something that is very difficult to deal with, okay? It's somebody that really has your heart. And I feel like they're going through life, either there has been a lot of deceit in the past, or they're going through life trying to accumulate things for themselves. So I feel like they might not be entirely selfish, but they really want to, amass things for themselves before they get into a relationship. So this is somebody that you feel like, oh, you're a little bit greedy, or you're a little bit too, like it feels from your end like they care a little bit too much about money. That's what it feels like to me. So it could be an air sign here, somebody that you feel cared a little bit too much about money, and you're just like, why can't you just commit? Why can't you just let things go? And so I feel like some of you, a new lover that you're not taking seriously. Others of you, exes still trying to come back and trying to make some changes, but you're just like, this person is too caught up in their work, too caught up in their financial situation, financial standing specifically, okay? I feel like some of you are still try not to let old people come through, and you have suitors, especially for singles. If you've been single for about 6 months, I feel like this is a good month overall to start dating and to start going out, because I feel like this is a card here about standing very proudly, because you have some options, and the wands basically indicates like a lot of strong sexual energy, so attraction, physical attraction, lust, and things like that. People are just drawn to you. And it's linked up here with the Empress, which basically indicates a very fertile period, a period of time where you're feeling really good, you're going out, having a really good time, and possibly I do see some weight gain for some of you. And so this is basically indicative of a really good time for some of you to start getting out there. If you've been putting your life on hold because of a recent breakup, I do sense that this is a month in which you're going to start to break through it, and you're going to start to get a lot of suitors. And especially if you've been dating and had no luck because you feel like the person that are dating you, or the person that are coming at you, they might be a little bit younger than you, or they might be very inexperienced. They might be a little bit cheesy or corny with the way that they court you with their pickup lines, etc. Well, there's more where that's coming from, but that doesn't make a bad person, okay? So I would say give them a chance, okay? Because I feel like there's a lot of sincerity in the people that you're dealing with. In terms of, I feel like a lot of you are attracting this energy, attracting people, and attracting especially really young people too. You're professionally, you're on top of your game, and I feel that a lot of you might be, making quite a bit of money. You're in a stable, employed type of situation. This is the King of Wands here. And you're also incredibly independent. Even like the women, the men, Aries out there, like male, female Aries out there, you're highly independent. And because you're highly independent, and you've got like stable work, you've got a lot of wealth for yourself, and I feel like you're dressed well. You're dressed really well. Like I'm seeing like designer clothes for some of you, and even if it's not designer clothes, you're dressed really well when you go out, when you go to work. So people take you very seriously, and people, it's like you dress for the part. So if it's like going out, socializing, or going out on a date, going to a bar, going to a club, you're dressed to the T. So I feel like people, you're turning heads with that, okay? And even like when you're at work, you're suited up, and I feel like you dress really well. And so people take you very, very seriously. It's sort of like they see you, and they see the energy and the attention that you command, and as a result of it, they're very drawn to you. It could just be physical attraction, but I feel like there's a lot more to it. You exude a really strong energy. And so as a result of it, I feel like a lot of people, you have here younger water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, somebody that you not want to deal with for quite some time, mainly because you feel like their energy might not be sincere, they're not ready, and you feel like it would be a little bit irresponsible of you to get involved with them. But I feel like there's some temptation coming through where you might actually get involved with them. And then for others of you who are out and about trying to, date new people. I see new people coming through, and I also feel like you're gonna find somebody who is very like-minded. Okay, so somebody who is like, who has the same goals, who wants to start a family, who has a really, really strong, nurturing, protective, and a very brave energy about them. So you might actually encounter another fire sign. So Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. I feel like if you are already dealing with a fire sign, there might be taking a relationship to the next level here. Okay, so we have here the Empress, which is somebody being given a title, somebody who is trying to, solidify that relationship. So I feel that there's another relationship that's running here, especially if you're dealing with a fire sign. Coupled relationships, I feel like there is issues, like I see arguments coming through about, wealth, about saving, about trying to build a future for yourself. So I feel like there's heavy talks here about with a relationship partner regarding, marriage, regarding family planning, regarding like, oh no, there could be pregnancy news, and you and the other person is just like, what do we do now? Like, how are we going to save up financially for our future in order to support this other person that's going to be coming into the picture, which is the baby? But I feel like there's a lot of news here about family planning, about savings, about accumulating wealth so that you can be prepared for this new person that's going to be added in the picture. And I'm seeing for some of you, it could even be pets, but I'm seeing children as well. Okay, so pregnancy and things like that. So I feel that overall, it's a month of decisions, a lot of decisions, and good attraction. Just make sure it doesn't run rampant, okay? I'm sensing for some of you guys, I feel like you have broken up with an ex, and I feel that, you tell your friends, oh, it's done, it's all over with, and the ex comes back, and you might, physically get back in a relationship with them, and you're not telling your friends about it. So that's what I'm sensing for some of you. So, we don't really need to justify our actions to anybody, okay? We just need to do it for ourselves, okay? So for your own sake, if you're doing that and you tell somebody, oh no, I'm not doing that, just don't, okay? Just live your life, be true to yourself, do whatever that makes you feel good, as long as you're not hurting another person, and you don't need to justify to another person, okay? If they're not in the relationship, you don't need to justify it to them, all right? So hold your ground, Aries. Try to do, I honestly feel, try to do the right thing, but at the same time, answer to yourself. If you feel good about the decision that you're making, it's the right course of action for you, okay? So no excuses, all right? I hope the reading resonates with you guys, and I hope it has been helpful. I'll be back for the mid-month reading, and the mid-month reading, same format, okay? Not this, but, the same previous format. So if you'd like to book a private reading with me, visit my website. The information is in the description box below. I wish you the very best for this month, and I feel like, new energies are trying to come through, okay? I see it, and it's time to wrap up that chapter and move forward with your love life, okay? Whether or not you're ready to date, that's not the point. It's just closing doors on the past, closing some doors, and then moving on, okay? Best of luck with everything, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.